What's going on with y'all? It's your boy Lee, and in this video, I'm actually going to be explaining how I became a software engineer and how you can too. So before I explain to y'all how you can become a software engineer, I'm just going to quickly explain, my background and how I got to my first position as a software engineer. I started off at community college immediately after I got out of high school, but when I was at community college, I chose graphic design. I just chose it off the top of my head because I could draw really well, but the thing is, I didn't know what I really wanted to do coming out of school. I just know that I had to make money. So my uncle was actually the one who advised me to be a software engineer because he is a software engineer and he went to school for computer science. But back then, I wasn't trying to hear any of that, anything that had to do with coding, anything that had to do with math. Like my whole mindset was completely different back then. So, it took a dinner, a Thanksgiving dinner specifically, with him and another individual who actually was, I believe he was the dean of Morgan State at the time, or like the vice dean or whatever, or vice something. I don't know how to phrase it, but basically, he or they advised me to get into STEM. So the dean was trying to get me to go into electrical engineering. My uncle was trying to get me to go into computer science, and I basically ended up going with computer science. So fast forward from community college to when I transferred to a four-year university, I just pretty much grinded all the way through. I took all my math classes, I took all my coding classes. It was a challenge. I'd say as a math student, I was pretty much a C average. As a coding student, I'd say I was a B average, to be honest with you. Like when I left college, I think I had like a 2.7 GPA or something like that, which isn't too bad, isn't too good, just kind of like right in the middle. Immediately after I got out of college, I started applying like a madman. Actually, not even immediately after, like right when I was about to leave college, I was applying like a madman and I was getting denied like a madman. Like people would deny me left and right, different companies. I mean, from FAANG companies, from DoD contractors, startup companies, and of course, random consulting service companies that you probably never heard of, but they definitely they definitely want you more than you want to be with them, if you get what I'm trying to say. No shade to them specifically, but I wanted to work for a reputable company that I knew had some ground in the game, and their name definitely rang bells around, depending on who you said it to in certain spaces. So I definitely didn't just want to work at any company. So best believe my first couple of offers I definitely turned down because just for the different circumstances. In fact, one engineer from a company that I was applying for down in Southern Maryland, I can't even remember the name of the company, but basically he put it to me this way. He was like, I don't want to say if you come down here, it's kind of like a hole in the wall, but it's kind of like a hole in the wall. So basically, I did not go with that company, regardless of what they was willing to pay me. And after studying and studying algorithm questions and just applying like a madman, like I said, I was applying to like at least 10 companies a day, just for different requisitions. So much so to the point where I would try to go back into the portal and apply, and they're like, "Hey, you already applied for this position." Like I was applying that much. So after all that time of applying, I finally got an interview with a company I really wanted to work for, and I ended up working for the company. But enough about me. This video is more so about you and how you can be a software engineer. So I'm going to give you some game, or basically a pathway I think you could follow, or just general guidelines to follow when trying to be a software engineer. First, learn the basics of coding, assuming you don't know the basics of coding, right? So if you do know the basics of coding, you can skip this segment of the video if you want to, or just watch it just to watch it. But basically, all I'm going to say is you need to learn the basics of coding, programming, however you want to call it, and choose a language of your choosing. So you've got many. You've got like C++, we've got C, you've got Java, you've got Python, you've got JavaScript, you got Java. I already said Java. But yeah, you got like so many different options to choose from. So just choose one, stick with it, and just start learning it. So if you are in school and you're not a computer science major, but you want to be a software engineer, or you think you might want to be a software engineer, you might want to consider changing your major to computer science. I'm not even going to tell you to change it to something like information systems, or you know something other that's tech related. Some colleges have IT as a major. I know Towson definitely had IT as a major. I'm just going to personally tell you to choose computer science because I feel like it's going to put you in the best position to be a software engineer. That's just my personal opinion. But say that you're not in college, or you don't have the time to go back to school to get a degree. Well, I would hope that you at least have some type of degree, whether from a four-year university or from a community college. And if you don't, I would just advise to try to get something. I would advise to try to get some higher learning certificate of some sort. That is just my personal opinion, especially when you're trying to be a software engineer. You can definitely apply to companies, and they'll have on their like sheet of like the what the HR put, like 4 years of experience can be substituted in lieu of a degree. But then if you think about it, how did you get that 4 years of experience? You know what I'm saying? So I mean, it's again my opinion. Just like have something, at least some type of piece of paper, even if it's not computer science degree, just some type of certification from a higher education place, however you want to call it. In the language that you choose to learn, say like you wanted to learn Python. That's my favorite language, and I use that on the job every single day, right? So say you want to learn Python, and you don't know how to. I recommend learning it through either Udemy or YouTube. Those are my two recommendations. You got some others. Well, I don't think they teach Python on Free Code Camp. Well, then again, I haven't been on Free Code Camp since I was like in school, and that was like over 5 years ago. So who knows? You know what I mean? They might teach it, but in my opinion, I would choose either Udemy or YouTube University. I mean, like you can learn literally anything from YouTube, like anything. Another thing that you need to do is you need to get on one of these two websites. You need to either get on LeetCode or you need to get on HackerRank. Yes, I'm going to say it. And if you are someone that you have a background in coding and you think that these websites are useless, I completely disagree with you, and we could talk about it. You can fight me about it. I don't really care, but I completely disagree with you. The reason being is, from a perspective of, is LeetCode or HackerRank going to lead to direct success in you getting a position? Probably not direct success, but indirectly they definitely can. LeetCode is basically a platform that allows you to study these algorithm questions, or do algorithm questions from easy, medium, or hard. They have so many. They've got so many, from like array questions, string questions, binary tree questions. And if you don't know what any of these terms mean, just know that there are like different data structures within programming, and they're definitely going to be taught to you if you go to university. So definitely go on LeetCode or go on HackerRank, and just choose one. If I had to describe it to you, LeetCode is going to have more challenging questions than HackerRank generally. HackerRank generally tends to have easier ones, but the thing is like the descriptions are very wordy, they're very drawn out, and you have to really pay attention to what they're saying, or at least what they have written in the descriptions to answer the question. LeetCode is like the descriptions are like a couple of sentences usually, but the question is really hard to get. And when you're doing these algorithm questions, most importantly, time yourself, okay? That is why in the thumbnail of this video, I had this thing, this kitchen timer or whatever. But what this relates to is the Pomodoro technique. I'm not sure if any of you, some of you probably know about this technique, but this is a learning method that a lot of people use to stay focused when they're learning a new thing, or when they're trying to stay focused on their job. I definitely use this technique, and I definitely have footage of me using it on the job that I will show you all. So the whole thing with the Pomodoro technique is basically you want to have, a one Pomodoro cycle, right? And a Pomodoro cycle being, you do 25 minutes of just straight up consistent work. Like you don't stop, you don't look at your phone, you don't look at anything else to distract you. You just do 25 minutes of straight consistent work, and then you have a 5-minute break. You treat yourself, right? A reward. You want to check your phone, you want to go for a walk for 5 minutes, you want to, I don't know, if you want to waste your 5 minutes on going to the bathroom, you could do that. But it's like basically, you have a 5-minute break, and then you immediately get back to 25 minutes of work, and then another 5-minute break, 25 minutes of work, another 5-minute break, and 25 minutes of work. And traditionally, or like I guess like the way a lot of people do it is after 4 Pomodoro cycles, basically you can reward yourself with a longer break, which is like that could be like from 15 minutes to 20 minutes, or if you really want to get lazy or whatever, you can make it a 30-minute break. You know what I mean? But just put it to you this way: the shorter your break is, the better it's going to be for you, because you can stay more focused and dedicated to doing your tasks. So after you have studied algorithm questions, or at least I would say about like 30 to 40 algorithm questions on LeetCode or HackerRank, you need to be applying. Well, actually, let me not say after. During. You need to be doing this during. Like, you want to have these things going on in parallel at the same time, because you don't want to just you do all these algorithm questions and be like, finally I'm ready, and it's just like, well, you were getting ready the whole time. So like, why not just set the interviews in motion? You know what I mean? Like, why not get that out the way? So I would definitely be applying to places as you're studying these questions, because you never know. You know what I'm saying? Not to mention, not every company asks coding questions. It's more so just to prepare yourself if you have to do it. Like, if you have to do the whiteboarding, if you have to do coding questions, you need to prepare yourself and put yourself in the best position. Also, apply like a madman. Do not stop applying. You better not be applying like 1 to 5 times a day. No, you need to be applying at least 5 times a day. Seriously, like, I mean, it's a numbers game out here. It is no joke. I mean, and it seems like the further we go in the future, it's just going to keep getting harder. So you got to get more competitive. You know what I'm saying? You got to really apply, but at the same time, don't just apply to anywhere. You know what I mean? Like, there's definitely some companies that, like, if they seem like they're really pressed to get you on board, but like they don't really know anything about you, in my opinion, I'd stay away from them. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna name any names. You know what I mean? Trust and believe. If you start this application process, you will be able to successfully vet. Okay, like, they're probably wasting my time. Okay, these people are probably worth me getting into the company, right? So I would definitely just be careful about just applying to any company. Like, do a research on the company. What's their values? You know what I mean? Like, what are most people saying that work from the company? And don't just pay attention to a couple of bad reviews, because you know what I'm saying? Some people could have just had really bad experience on a certain management team with the company, especially for like large companies. You know what I mean? You got to think, like, they're all over the United States, and they might even be global in other countries. So, management, how it's broken down, like, it's not just within like one family. Like, there's managers in Texas, there's managers in Iowa, there's managers in DC, there's managers in New York. So if it's a really big company, don't just like listen to what like one person says about it, because that their anecdotal experience may not speak for like people that worked in California for the same company. You follow what I'm saying? And now, for the day of your interview, when you finally land it, because you're gonna land it, you know what I'm saying? If you really want it, you're gonna land it. Trust me. So when that day finally comes, don't be nervous, don't be scared. I definitely was, but I shouldn't have been. And looking back, I don't know why I was. But don't be scared. You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever they ask you, just like begin to try to solve it. Begin to try to solve the coding problem if they do ask you one. And the most important thing, I really want to stress this. Do not be pressed, or do not really worry about trying to get the answer right. What you need to worry about is trying your best to articulate your reasoning for why you think you're right, or the decision you're trying to make. You also need to communicate effectively, you know what I mean? So be asking them questions, or kind of like talking them through your solution as you're coding it. And, just, again, effective communication, because they're not just gauging your coding skills, they're gauging your coding skills, but also how you're working through the problem. That is way more important than you just getting it right? So it's just, don't just worry about being right, worry about being efficient. That is my final piece of advice on that. And that's been this whole video on how I became a software engineer, and how you can too. And I hope that y'all found it useful. Definitely check out some of the links that I plugged in, or some of the companies like LeetCode, HackerRank, Udemy for learning. Like, you guys have got to get on this wave if you're really trying to be in this industry, you're trying to be in this business. So I definitely would advise you to check these out and stay motivated, and just stay working and grinding. It will eventually come. You'll get your first position, and the rest is up to you. This is really a self-fulfilling journey, and you get out what you put in, basically. All right, y'all, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. It's been I try to keep it a little bit shorter than my other videos. I'm working on it as I go. I'm working. But please apply these principles to yourself and how you could be a software engineer, and I promise you will see fruits of your labor. Just don't give up. Don't be deterred, and understand there's no reason to be scared. That was so corny, but it's okay. It's okay. Y'all get the point. Anyway, take it easy. It's your boy Leek. I'm out.